in the second half when they started chanting like "We want 6, we want 7," like it was really cool. And because they're so close to the pitch, it really felt like they were on top of you. And yeah, they've been amazing all season, but that was sort of like a really special moment where Kings Meadow is like our little fortress.
Hello and welcome to We Are Chelsea, the official podcast of Chelsea Women, brought to you in association with Skoda, the official car partner of Chelsea Women and proud supporters of women's sport. I'm Kaz Demores, and well, just when you thought the title race could have been over, Chelsea now have everything to play for after a huge 8-0 win against Bristol City at the weekend. So here to chat all about that game and look ahead to the possibility of winning that title is co-captain and Chelsea left-back Niamh Charles. Well, Niamh, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I am very well. Now, we're recording this, and last night it was the awards. They looked very fancy and glitzy. How were the awards last night?
Yeah, it was actually nice to see everyone get all dressed up and to celebrate the teams and the individuals. It was really nice. And also my first one. I've been here 4 years now, and that was my first one.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about, I'm going to get stuck in now, to Bristol City at the weekend. A huge 8-0 win. Oh my gosh. Talk to me about the lead into that game, during the game, and then the reaction in the changing room afterwards.
I think, to be honest, I think we all dealt with it differently. Like, obviously everyone was playing earlier than us. I chose not to watch any of the game or like follow it at all, so I didn't have any idea what was going on. Other people obviously watched it. I only realised afterwards, okay, that's the results, obviously. We then all rocked up, and I mean, Emma said it was like a second chance, but we also knew that we had a lot of work to do. And then, to start the game, and the crowd was amazing, and I think that gave us energy and sort of the occasion that it was. And we knew we had a lot of work to do, and thankfully, it was a really good day, and the goals just kept coming, and it was really massively important for us. And then afterwards to sort of obviously celebrate Fran and Emma was really special. Added to what had happened that day, it was a pretty special day, but also doesn't count for anything unless we back it up in the next few games. Yes.
And so can we go back to Liverpool? Did you just think the title race was all over after that loss?
No, I don't think all over. I think the way we are at Chelsea is we will never ever stop fighting as long as there's a possibility. And I think obviously we were gutted afterwards and very disappointed in ourselves. So if we could go back and do it differently, for sure. But I don't think we ever thought it was completely over. We always had hope, and then luckily we have been given a second chance. But as I say, we still have to take it,
Yeah. And do you think that, because Chelsea are one of those teams where you're so used to winning, you guys win all the time, and throughout the season I've been speaking to different players, and so many have just said, we're used to winning, we're not used to losing. Do you think that some of the other players who maybe did see the City result before the game and then think it's also Emma's last home game, do you think it added to the motivation, or do you think you felt a bit more pressure?
I mean, I would like to think neither. I would like to think that we have a job to do regardless of everything else that's going on. Okay. Pressure or not, I don't know, but maybe that's just my... But maybe I think for others, the occasion, what had happened, it is a bit of... I mean, it does give you a bit extra energy, and I think the crowd was amazing. But for sure, even if Emma wasn't leaving, we'd still want to have done that. I think the narrative around it just came together really nicely in like a storytelling way. But the actual reality of the football was still the same, for me at least.
Okay. What advice did Emma give you guys before the game?
She said, as she's been saying a lot, like it's rare that you get given a second chance. We have a little bit of one here, make it count. And she was just like, I want to see a Chelsea performance, and I want to see the mentality, and I want to see the energy that's like the biggest thing that she said, like what we can control is I want to see the energy and the intent from the very first whistle. And I think that really hit home with the players.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because when we see football teams all over, especially when there's a new manager maybe and people, and you go, the players aren't playing for that manager. I feel like you don't ever hear that with the Chelsea team. I feel like it's always, God, those players really play for Emma. Do you think that did kind of help against Bristol? Do you think everyone was also just like, we do have a job, but we also really want to do this for ourselves and for Emma?
I mean, these are probably really boring answers, but honestly, my answer is that regardless of any narrative around it, I would still really want to win. Like, it's, of course, with Emma, but if Emma was still staying for the next 10 years, I'd still want to win in that moment. Yeah. And I think there is a lot of emotions, but yeah, it's always been, ever since we've been at Chelsea, it's our little group. We play for each other and we play for Emma. Like, I think that's a given. So, of course, but that's almost feels like it's every game. It's really like within the team. It's you play for each other and you play for the badge, and like you have pride when you pull on that shirt, and you expect a certain Chelsea pride when we play. And I do think we haven't done that totally this season, and I think that's something the team can really develop, and sort of hopefully we can do that more next season. But as a whole and as a sort of standpoint, that's the expectation and that's the norm. So no matter what sort of media or noise is going on around it.
I get the vibe that you are very competitive.
Oh, yeah.
On and off the field. In fact, a little birdie told me today, they said, let's not talk about training.
Oh my
and she
God,
was like,
who
you
told
can
you
talk
that?
about it with me. And she was like, don't talk about it with Niamh. And I was like, oh, okay.
Who told you
she
that?
was like, she's very competitive.
Oh no, I'm still not over it. I'm still angry about it.
It was Hannah.
Yeah. It was, I'm very competitive, and I think it's a great thing, and too much, it can be a terrible thing. Like, ruins family games nights. Like, it can go too far, and I'm aware of that. But when it happens, I'm just,
Okay, so Christmas, charades, you get excited with when you win, but you'll go in on the other person if they're on your team and you're losing.
Yeah, it's less, I'm really happy. I really, really want to win, but if I'm losing, it's not good. Like, me and my sister have had a few big family arguments, like even recently. Like, we're both quite old, and it's just ridiculous, but I just can't help it. That's why sometimes I'm like, my friends get annoyed if we're playing, because I'm like, I really try and take it chilled, because if I go really competitive, like, it brings out a really competitive side, and I don't want to show them that. And then they get really annoyed that I'm not trying, and I'm like, but I'm either a 0 or 100 person. Like, I'm really trying to stay nice here. Like,
So what's your worst board game? Is it like Monopoly is just off the table?
It's not even, but it's honestly anything. Like, we've gone to play tennis, a few of us girls, and and paddle, and they were getting so angry with me. They were like, you just don't look like you care, and you're just swinging and you're laughing. It's like, because if I really care, I'll get so angry. But they're like, well, just try. And I'm like, but that doesn't work. I'm either 0 or 100. So
if I try, you will see a gremlin come out if I don't. So it's basically, you need to try, but you need to be good. And if you're not.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, I really want to win. And I'm just like, sometimes when you play tennis, you don't need, like, I have to try and tell myself you don't need to win. It's about the enjoyment, but I just don't see it that way.
I love that. Going back to King's Meadow now, I know it was the last time in front of your fans there this season, and it was a sellout crowd. What was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, it was incredible. I think, like, I just remember when in the second half, when they started chanting, like, we want 6, we want 7, like, it was really cool. And because they're so close to the pitch, it really felt like they were on top of you. And yeah, they've been amazing all season, but that was sort of like a really special moment where Kings Meadow is like our little fortress. And yeah, to see, and they all stayed after the game. Like, when we were presenting Emma and Maren and Fran their stuff, I did look around and it was still packed. So that was really, it was really nice to see.
I mean, we've got to talk about 8-0. It's huge in terms of goal difference to go up against Manchester City. How did it feel to score the 6th in such a huge result?
Yeah, it was. Well, actually, that goal in isolation, like I was actually buzzing with it because me and Kat have spoke about it a lot, like last game I think, or the few games. So it's something we've actually spoken about. And before the game,
wow.
I was like, Kat, and she was like, obviously disguising it, but I'm like, pass the ball to me, and she kind of like nodded her head like, Niamh, okay, I'm going to pass you the ball, but don't make it so obvious. So like because in previous times I've like headed it back across goal, but I was like, oh, if it comes to me, I'm going to try and shoot. And then, so when it's just a moment you speak about and it actually happens, so then I think you can tell when I run off celebrating, I'm just like,
yeah,
it actually worked. So yeah, that was fun, and I haven't scored in a while, so that was actually really nice.
And I want to ask you about Kat, and obviously your celebration, because you did celebrate with her after the beautiful assist, and she's quite high up in the assist table now. What do you think Kat's impact has been on the team this season?
I think obviously losing Sam, it's a huge loss for the team, and I think obviously it wasn't like she still had some time to build up, but I think she's been massive in terms, I think first of all, she's a winner. Like, so when she's on the pitch, she's a competitor, she's a winner, and you can never have too many of them. And she knows what it takes to win as well. She's seen sort of the top level, and so she knows the level, and that's where she's going to get the team to. So it's really nice to have someone like that on your team. And yeah, I think she's a proper football player. Like her technique on the ball, I give her a hard time about a set piece delivery, but it is a massive weapon. And yeah, you can see in her assists that, it annoys me giving her so many but she is a really, really good player. And yeah, her impact on the team, like she comes on and she's just like getting assists like it's just like a normal pass. So yeah, she's a top player for us, and looking forward to the next few seasons sort of playing with her and seeing what she can achieve.
Looking at the other 7 goals in that game, which one was your favourite?
Oh, they're all my favourite for different reasons, but probably what I remember most is just Guru. Like, I just loved the way she was just like, she's a magical player, and she's so classy. And because I was right behind a lot of her goals, just seeing them like when she got the ball, I was like, Guru shoot, and she hits the ball so sweetly. And then her reaction, like, just obviously we were getting the ball and running back, so she was just running straight past. That's like the adrenaline, and like, you can't buy those moments. Like, they're so special. I think, yeah, it's just like those were the really special moments where like we were both so hyped, and just, yeah, I'll just always remember her running back. And they're like special moments on a football pitch, I think, like when you share them with your teammates who you work so hard with. And she was just on one, and she was unreal.
Oh, nice. How do you describe the feeling of scoring a goal in front of a home crowd?
I'm actually pretty bad when even with my celebration, I always just run back to the halfway line. Like with everyone else, I'm the first one to celebrate. But when it's me, I think I get so giddy that I just carry on running. Like, I forget to stop and celebrate. So like most of the goals I've scored, I literally do just turn around and run back. And then it's after that, I'm like, oh, that was like, you do love it. And I think when you watch it and you see like the crowd all sort of cheer in the one moment and hear the noise, and like it means so much to them, it's really, really nice.
I want to talk about emotions, because saying farewell to Fran, Maren and Emma after the game must have been very emotional, not only for the team but for all of us fans. How has it been saying goodbye to 3 Chelsea legends in the last few weeks of the season?
I think it's like, I'm really happy that they've got the sort of time that they have to sort of receive everything they deserve, and sort of have the time for everyone to say how much they appreciate them. I think it still feels a bit, to me at least anyway, I'm a bit like, I'll realise once they've gone when they're not back in pre-season, you know what I mean? Because right now we're in this bubble of they're still in every day, and nothing's sort of changed, even though everything will change. So I think it'll probably sink in. That's just the way I am once they're not here. But yeah, I think I'm trying to enjoy the last few weeks together. I mean, with all my teammates anyway, it's like you spend so much time with them and then you just leave them for 3 months. So it's just about enjoying it and spending the quality time you can. But for those 3 in particular, we'll really, really miss them. And I think I've said it before, I'm glad that they're getting what they deserve, and hopefully they feel all the love and what they've done for this club individually. Like, they've all had huge impacts and moments that are just, they're iconic.
Now, Niamh, I don't know if you know this, but this podcast is brought to you by Skoda, who are the official car partner of Chelsea Women, and they are proud supporters of women's sport. Now, I know that you own a Skoda, but you and your family are big Skoda fans. That's true, right?
Yeah, we are a Skoda garage at home, so obviously, and I drive a very nice one at the moment, but I've kept my other one as well, can't part with it. And at home we have multiple Skodas, and my first car, it's just a Skoda family. Like, my first car was a Skoda, and it's stayed in the family. That'll probably be my brother's car, and my dad got me onto it, and stayed loyal ever since. And the car I drive now I absolutely love, and every day I just love getting into it.
What car are you? Are you in an Enyaq now?
I'm in an Enyaq coupe at the moment, and it's a dream. I absolutely love it, and all the little gadgets and whatnot, and the fact that it's Skoda makes it even better. And it is a dream car partnership for me, so I was very, very happy about it.
That's brilliant. Well, I've also heard that the Skoda Kodiaq is an all-new 7-seater. Mm-hmm. So if you were to give lifts to your other teammates, that's the one that you can. But maybe you don't fancy giving people lifts and sticking with the one that you've got.
Well, I actually was toying between that one as well. And then I was like, I don't think I need, there's literally me in the car majority of the time. Like, I don't have that many friends. I don't think I need that. So I went for the slightly smaller one. But I'm thinking future dogs, 7-seater. Yeah. I had 7-seaters when I was growing up. So they do it all.
Okay. Well, I will be your friend to try out this new Skoda. But I'm just one person, so I can fit in whichever one you've got, your old one or your new one. And is it true that no one is allowed to control the tunes in your car when you're driving?
No, I don't mind you being the DJ, but if you start to tell me about anything you're driving, I'm just like, excuse me, I'm the one that's driving. So you can be DJ and you can be a good DJ, but if you start trying to be like, or you should go that way, it's like, I'm aware, I'm the driver.
Okay, she's competitive and likes to be in control of the steering wheel.
Yeah, but you be a good DJ, that's your responsibility.
For those listening, if you're interested in learning more about Skoda, search the Skoda range online now. You touched earlier on the fact that as a Chelsea team, you guys never give up. And even after Liverpool, you were still fighting and you didn't think that it was all over. How are you guys feeling ahead of the next game against Tottenham?
I think almost business as usual. Like, we know what we need to do. It's definitely, I think we're very aware that it could, yes, it's hope, but we actually have to go out there and do it, and not to get too sort of carried away with everything. It's about controlling what we can control and making sure that we do everything now. We've got a bit longer than we usually have for a game, but making sure we're actually really using that so that when we turn up to the game, we're as completely ready as we can be.
I remember talking to Ben Chilwell, actually, about the highs and lows of football. And it's just natural in football, isn't it? And particularly in this season, there's been a lot of highs and lows for you guys, and how as footballers, if you let the waves take you, then it can be very up and down. And you've opened up about your mental health before. How important is it to seek help, and how do you deal with riding the waves? Do you try and maintain a kind of level of balance so that you're not swept up and down so often?
Yeah, I think it's not like something that one day you're like, oh, sweet, I'm fixed now. Now I know how to deal with it. Like, it's a constant sort of, I think I've definitely got better at dealing with it, but it'll never be like, oh, not an issue. It's not like, you just fix it. It's like a constant thing of the last few weeks. I definitely dealt better with it than I would have done previously, because I think I've worked really hard on it, and I've speak to the people around me that sort of help me, and but I think it's not true to say, oh, I just know how to deal with it now. Obviously I'm a lot better, but I think in 5 years time hopefully I'll even be even better at it. It's like a constant journey, and being aware that that's just something I'm really passionate about, that it's like an everyday thing, that it's sort of, it's not just that, oh, sweet, you're done. It's sort of, you have to engage in that the same way we engage with our physical, with our technical every single day. It's about engaging with and knowing we can always be better with that, knowing that we can always be better with our mental health and giving it the time that it needs. Because like you've seen in the past few weeks in the games, the highs and the lows, like a lot of it is, it's a mental toll. And the way we were on Sunday, we were just on it in the flow, and that's a massive part of that is mentally. And I think so it's not lost on me how like big of a difference it can make, to be honest. And just I like talking about it too, because I think everyone I just want to be open about it.
Yeah, and I think it's only in the last few years maybe that people have talked about it more, especially in the men's game as well, because it's needed for both men and women, but notoriously men don't always talk. But I think speaking to so many athletes, sometimes I feel like it's an athlete thing, and because you're expected, there's another game coming, you're expected to be on form physically, but if your mind isn't, you can't, it needs to catch up physically. Your physical can't be at a certain level when your mind isn't.
Yeah, and I think even though you say that about the male, I don't want it to be like, oh, just speak to someone, because I was the worst person for speaking to someone. So I think it helps, like if someone says, because when someone says, I'll just speak to someone, it sounds really easy, but it's not. Like I was actually really bad at doing that, and I've had to really develop that. And also it's not just about when you're like struggling, it's like even when you're as high can be, that's still part of your mental health as well. So it's not, I just don't want it to be like, oh, when you're struggling then you sort of reach out. It's just it's just there, and it's every day, whether it's good, whether it's bad. It's just having an awareness and giving it the time and the space that it needs. But yeah, as athletes, I think we're not robots, even though sometimes it would be really nice if we were. That's what makes high performance so difficult, is we're not robots. And yeah, that's why you have to take care of your mental health just as much as your physical health, because obviously it's a physical game, but a lot of it is played in the mind as well. Yeah,
I love that. What you touched on reminded me of a saying that someone told me. It was, you work on your mental health even on the good days, because it will be there for you on the bad days. And that, I feel like that's the message that you're saying. We touched on Fran, Maren and Emma. What do you think their impact has been on the club? I mean, I feel like that's not a short answer by any stretch.
Mm-hmm. I think I've had the outside perspective and the inside now. So when I was playing for Liverpool and sort of in the earlier times, and now hearing them speak about like when they first started at Staines, and sort of from then to now, the momentum they've created and sort of the monster that they've created. And I think those are three hugely key players, and sort of Emma fighting for on the pitch and also off the pitch in terms of advocating for the players, advocating for females in the game, how she's managed to sort of develop so many things, not just on the pitch. She's used it to sort of as a platform off the pitch as well. And then Maren and Fran, like hugely experienced, top class players. I think they've been integral with a lot of other players, and sort of they came to the club and they've made it what it is. It's not just they came to something that is what it is now. They were in the whole journey, and I think that's something to be massively proud of. It's not just like, yeah, you were there from the very, very beginning and you created this sort of what it is now. And I have massive respect for all three of them for what they've achieved and how they've done it and how they carry themselves.
We've talked about how, football, and in particular this season, has had its ups and downs. But how do you reflect on your personal journey this season?
I mean, I haven't done that too much yet, just because I still feel very much in it in the moment. And we've still got a big job to do. But I think I have really enjoyed this season, and I feel like I've developed and played more consistently, as in actually played, but also been more consistent in when I have played. And there's still for sure so many things that I can improve, and like I'm looking forward to doing that. But I've really enjoyed this season, building connections with players and sort of the times when I've taken on a bit more of a leadership role, I've enjoyed that, and sort of, I wish it could have gone different at times, but I really love playing for this team and with the girls that we've got. It's, really special.
So you've been co-captaining with Erin, and that must have been very special. What's it like leading the team out?
Yeah, it's really special, and I think, again, I'm just in the zone of like next game, that I don't actually think, and maybe I should more like, oh, this is pretty special and it is an honour, and I really enjoyed that responsibility. But even I would like to think it kind of gave me an insight of one game I'd wear it, one game I wouldn't, and it was a real insight of like, well, I'd like to think I don't change too much between the two.
Okay.
And with Erin as well, it was a nice insight to be like, visually one of us is wearing it, one of us isn't, but the responsibility is still very much there, no matter what the game is. But I really enjoyed that sort of experience for sure.
How different are yours and Erin's characters? Because we've had Erin on quite a few times, and I'm just imagining being captained by Erin, and now I'm trying to imagine being captained by you.
I mean, I guess I would like to ask other people that question and see what they'd say, because I don't really know what they say, but I guess I do think it's nice that I'd say we were both like really passionate, and we're both competitive and winners, and like obviously I'm 21, she's 22, so we end up sitting next to each other in the changing room, and there's like, we do our own things, and then we come together and have like a little, not like a check-in, but make sure we're on the same page about messages we want to get across. And I think maybe our character off the pitch is different, but I'd like to think on the pitch we're both sort of fight for the badge and have that passion. But be interested to see what other people said about that. They'd probably give a better answer than what I've just given.
Well, I might ask a few other people actually. Did you realise you'd be captaining at such a young age?
No, and I'd never even thought about it, to be honest. I just spoke to someone else about when Emma told me I'd be captain the first time, and I looked around, I was like, you're joking. Like I was seriously like for a while like, nah, you're having me on here, just because it was completely unexpected. But a huge honour that she did that, and I've been able to have that experience, and I've not thought about it at all, to be honest. But pretty special, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Well, talking of Emma, what has been the most valuable thing that she's taught you over your time at Chelsea?
To be honest, I've said, like, when people ask me that, I say like we've been on a journey, like she's done this so many times with like younger players and sort of moulding them. Obviously I've changed positions, so there has been a lot. It's not just been there's been ups and downs, challenging points, but I also think she's very good at seeing the human side of people, and so she really helped me sort of develop as a person. That's why, like, when I sit here now and I'm able to talk about her, I feel like a lot more put together kind of person. Like I was younger before, and now I know myself better. I know myself as a player better, and I think she's someone that encouraged me to do that. And she didn't do it for me for sure, but she sort of pointed me in the right direction.
How did Emma react yesterday when her mural was unveiled? And did you guys know that was going to
I mean, I didn't know. I don't know whether other people knew, but I didn't know. And I think, I saw her after the awards, and I think it's so nice that she got something that was a surprise for her, and it is a forever thing and completely justified and like really special. I think she knows how big that is for the club, like to be there, and it's a fitting sort of send off. And I think also for a family as well to sort of see her, obviously we all know what she's achieved, but to actually have something to see, and it was really special. So I think she was really happy with it.
I like that one of the first things she said is, my mum will love this. We've got some listener questions because we ask the listeners to send in their questions via email. And Caitlin is asking, if you can describe this season in one word, what would it be?
Tumultuous. Is that a word?
It is now. It is a word. Isabel is asking, what has been your most memorable game?
I think Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. I think I just loved that game, and the feeling I had afterwards when we walked around the pitch, I just loved it.
Yeah, nice. Ava asks if you've managed to find yourself on the WSL stickers yet.
Yeah, I have. Even though it is really, like, I think I found myself like once, and obviously I've seen a few people that have me, but I opened so many sticker packs and never come across myself.
Right. You guys listening, we need more Niamh. Maybe it's just been going to the same person. You know, I remember when I was little, I'd always be like, I've got the same person. Yeah, there's one person who's got about 10 Niamhs.
Yeah.
And apparently tumultuous means excited, confused, or disorderly. So maybe tumultuous is the
maybe
perfect word. Bit
Yeah.
disorderly, bit excited, bit confused at times.
Yeah, it could have up and down, so it could have gone a lot. It could have gone better. It will be next year.
It will be. Niamh, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We have run out of time, but I would love to have you back on in the future.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I'll gladly come back.
Thank you for listening to We Are Chelsea, the official podcast of Chelsea Women, brought to you in association with Skoda, the official car partner of Chelsea Women and proud supporters of women's sport. Subscribe to the feed and give us a review. There will also be video content from the show across all of Chelsea's social media channels. And don't forget to email us your questions at wearechelsea@chelseafc.com. See you next time.